And welcome back to more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So last time we went through Renegade Roundup in battle mode, and this time we are starting the DLC tracks. And as a result, I think we're going to be playing as one of the DLC characters, Tanooki Mario, and his special vehicle, if I can find it, the Tanooki Kart. I don't think these have like special wheels or anything, so let's just pick something sort of standard. This works. And for a glider, I don't think we've used this one yet. I may be mistaken. Either way, today we're going to be starting the Egg Cup with Yoshi Circuit. So Yoshi Circuit was originally from Mario Kart Double Dash for the GameCube, and is literally a course shaped like a Yoshi, and Yoshi being my favorite character, I think this is actually a pretty cool course. Unfortunately, they didn't bring back characters from Double Dash for this DLC. I kind of wish they had brought back like Birdo or someone like that. Paratroopa would also be a good pick. But we instead got Tanooki Mario and Cat Peach. So, this course is kind of windy because the shape of a Yoshi isn't exactly great for a very straight race course. So we have these little bends here where his little spikes are. I actually don't know what those things on the back of Yoshi's head are. I've never understood what those are for. Either way, so far so good. Lap 1 down. Full disclosure, this is actually a redo. Quite frankly, I got to the end of this cup actually and ended up losing at the very last minute because of a red shell and a variety of other items. So, yeah, this is a redo. Hopefully this goes a little bit better. So far so good, and you can't actually go behind the piranha plants. It's a little risky without a mushroom, so we're not going to do that. There's also a shortcut in lap, at the beginning of the race I should say, which I have neglected to point out so far. I'm pretty sure all of these little houses and like the gas station and everything are not in the original track. They added a lot of environmental detail, but this waterfall right there has a hidden shortcut. I can't take it because I do not have a mushroom. But yeah, I like the atmosphere of the track. It's very pretty. A lot prettier than on GameCube, to be perfectly honest. And it's just kind of fun. Not too much to say about it, but it's a good way to start the DLC. Though I should mention, DLC is a mixture of new and original tracks, so it's not entirely retro, but it's not entirely new. I also learned that the cups that contain entirely new courses are known as like the Nitro courses. I didn't know that. I'm not sure where this term even comes from, but I saw it on the Mario Wiki. Either way, that's our first race down, and the next race, I actually don't remember what it is. I think it's Excitebike. I was right, the Excitebike Arena. So this is an interesting course because it's somewhat randomly generated. Different ramps are placed differently depending on, like, on repeat playthroughs. Certain ramps are going to be in different spots. The little mud patches are going to be in different places. So it's kind of neat in that regard, but it's kind of an oval. It's not the greatest track ever, it's kind of basic, other than the little ramps. So I guess this would be a good time to mention, there's actually a really cool little environmental detail in Mario Kart. The tracks, or the tires pick up dirt, or snow, if it's a snow level, so that's neat. Obviously a little small detail they didn't need to put in, but they did anyway, and it adds a lot to the atmosphere. it's kind of interesting to me how, as graphics have gotten better, art styles have changed a little bit to reflect that. So, a lot of times companies push towards more realism with graphics, but other times they kind of do like this and strive for kind of a cartoony look, but that's still very realistic. It's kind of an interesting balancing act that I think Mario does super well. I personally don't exactly... I can't exactly think of too many other games that kind of reach this level, but I do really like this particular aesthetic from Mario. Mario Odyssey also does it really well, where it's like all the designs are very cartoony, but it's very high quality. Texture work is really good, environmental detail is top-notch, but the actual design of the world is still very bright and cartoony. I think of also like Sonic Unleashed is a good example, where it's probably the best looking Sonic game, personally, at the expense of frame rate, mind you, but it's just really good good looking, and I think it's because it really hits that good balance of good graphics mixed with the art style that still very much feels like a Sonic game. Either way, that was pretty straightforward. So yeah, moving on. Next up is probably one of the hardest DLC tracks, Track and Driftway, which, again, those statues look awfully familiar after doing the battle mode stages. And we get an appearance by Gobblegut, sort of, from Super Mario Galaxy 2. And it's just basically a giant winding dragon for our course. It's a really cool idea for a stage. I really like this stage, except it's really, really hard. These turns are very narrow and very frequent, being on a dragon-shaped course. And it tends to be kind of a nightmare. Once you get to 200cc, you will have to brake constantly, or fly off the edge of the stage, whichever you prefer, I guess. I guess I should also point out that this is a Tanooki with a little scarf, meaning he can actually turn into a statue. That's actually something in Super Mario 3D Land that they established, that there's like a Tanooki Mario without the scarf, who cannot transform, to my knowledge, and then there's one with the scarf that can. So you get like an upgraded Tanooki Leaf or something. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't go back to 3D Land very much. It's like I would just play 3D World instead, because it has a lot of the same mechanics, but I think it's the more interesting of the two. Not to say 3D Land is bad, I think it's a legitimately great game. But yeah, of the two, I go back to 3D World a lot more. It's kind of like a lot of games of that generation, where they had a 3DS version that was like alright, I guess, kind of not outstanding. And then they'd make a console version and just kind of build on it, and it ended up being a lot better. I'm trying to think of another example, and unfortunately the only one I can think of is Sticker Star to Color Splash, which is very undeniable that Color Splash manages to fix like a lot of the problems of Sticker Star, to the point where it's exceedingly obsolete to try to play through Sticker Star, because it's like, just play Color Splash. It's not an awful experience, and that's a plus for starters. Though I will be honest, I never quite hated Sticker Star as much as most people did, but I definitely think it's the worst Paper Mario, and it's just pretty boring. Anyway, Track and Driftway, we didn't fall off the stage, so that's a win. Last course. Finally, for the Egg Cup, we have Mute City from F-Zero. I remember this being kind of controversial back in the day because people like this course a lot, but people also kind of like, well, guess we're not getting a new F-Zero anytime soon. So yeah, you don't have coins, you have to use these little, glowing spots. Like if you just drive along them, you'll get coins, which is a reference to basically refueling and gaining back health in F-Zero. I'll also be perfectly honest, I know like zero, pun intended, about F-Zero. I've played very little of GX, not GX, regular X for the N64. And I have played a little bit of the Super Nintendo one and a little bit of the GBA one, or one of the two GBA games. This is actually what happened last time, so I'm a little concerned, because last time this kind of happened, where I just got kind of really comboed by items at the very end, except in that case it was at the last lap, so there was no mounting a comeback there. This is actually a really fun track on 200cc. In general, the DLC tracks definitely feel better designed for that, but except Track and Driftway and one in a later cup, which is really twisty as well. But for the most part, I do feel like tracks like this work better for 200cc because they're a little bit less, they're kind of more designed for going fast. I mean, it's F-Zero, of course it is. Yeah, I feel like my analogy in the last course kind of falls apart because I literally can't think of another example. Well, I guess Super Smash Bros., but I actually would disagree with that. A lot of people prefer the Wii U version. I actually don't. I prefer the 3DS version because Smash Run. I like Kirby. I like Kirby's Air Ride. It was my first Kirby game. So I always have a soft spot for that mechanic. So Smash Run kind of it actually just really makes me want a new Kirby's Air Ride and City Trial, but either way I think it's like the better of the two modes. Smash Tour isn't like great personally, but yeah, in general, a lot of Wii U games or 3DS games kind of just got later Wii U versions that tended to kind of eclipse them. I feel like this is also a thing you could say about Mario Kart 7 and 8, but yeah. I think that actually went a lot better. We didn't get destroyed at the last lap, so that's a plus. And that's the Egg Cup. Another good run, albeit it took a second try, but we did it. Track and Driftway just visually stands out, and that's the thing about these DLC tracks is I like them a lot visually and, you know, mechanically and design-wise, because a lot of the original tracks, you know, obviously are made for this game, so they really take advantage of all of the different mechanics and gimmicks, again, like 200cc. Either way, that is the Egg Cup down. So next time, I guess we're taking on the Triforce Cup. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.